This is Mark chapter 9, okay? And this is where Jesus heals a boy who's possessed by an impure spirit. But before Jesus goes to heal this boy, the disciples had attempted to get the spirit out of this boy, and they were unsuccessful. And so because they were unsuccessful, they took him to Jesus. The dad took him to Jesus, and he's like, "I'm bringing you my son who's possessed. He has seizures. He's foaming of the mouth. I mean, gnashes his teeth, becomes rigid. I asked the disciples to do it, but they could not." Right. And so then, of course, Jesus is like, "Okay, well, bring me this boy. How long has this been happening?" And, since childhood, he answered. And, this is what the father of the boy said. He said, "But if you can do anything, take pity on us and help us." What is the key word there?
If you can.
If. And it goes back to your point. We are all about if. If I'm going to get better. If I still need to. If I'm going to be able to do this. If. There's no if in being a child of God. There is no if. There is no if.
It's a matter of when.
It's a matter of when. And I love that because Jesus, being the savage Jesus that he is, says, "If you can," said Jesus, "everything is possible for one who believes." He's like, offended. Like, how dare you? If. Like, do you know who I am? I just could picture him like, do you know who I am?
It's kind of like Peter right there.
Yeah,
You of
like,
little faith.
like,
It kind of
come
gets
on,
on him.
like, really?
He's
Yeah,
just finished.
he's frustrated.
Possibly drowning. Blah, 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 probably drank a little bit of water and he gets on him. Yeah.
So number one is you have to believe. You have to believe that you will be healed. Now, the end result might not be what we want. It may not look like what we want it to look like,
Right.
but it will come forth. It will come
To fruition.
to fruition, right? So number one is, do you truly believe that you can overcome trauma, depression, anxiety, domestic violence, abuse, whatever it is, whatever your drug addiction, substance?
And let me be the first one to say,
Alcohol.
yes, you can.
Yes.
Yes, you can.
It's not if, it's when.
Right.
But here's a catch. Do you believe?
You got to have
That's
faith.
the first
And you got
question.
to trust.
Do you believe?
Trust the process.
Yes. Do you believe? You have to ask yourself that question. Do you believe? Do you believe that you can repair your marriage? Do you believe that your child will come back to Christ? Do you believe that you will be healed mentally, physically, spiritually? Do you believe that you will overcome whatever it is that you're facing? That's the number one question.
Your
you need to ask
finances will
yourself.
be restored.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, this is verse I just read 23, right? Everything is possible for one who believes. And then we're going to kind of skip through it. And then verse 28. So, of course, Jesus rebukes that demon, and the demon flees. And the disciples are like, "Man, why couldn't we drive it out, Jesus? Like, what's wrong with us? What's going on?" And this is what Jesus said. He said this kind, meaning the type of spirit, demon spirit that was in this boy, can come out only by fasting and prayer, by prayer and fasting. And if you're looking at your Bible, Mark chapter 9, verse 29, and you only see prayer, you're going to see an asterisk. If you go down, the King James Version says fasting and prayer.
Right.
Fasting and prayer. And, it's interesting because Jesus had already given the disciples the authority to cast out demons in Mark chapter 3, verses 14 to 15. So he had already given them authority and shared with them that they had the authority to do this. So that's why they were like, "Okay, let me do this," because Jesus had already empowered them. You
Right.
can do this, right? The interesting thing is that the authority that Jesus had given them was effective only if they exercised their faith. If they exercised their faith. And that's why, he said, "Well, what do you mean if you believe," right? If You have to believe. If I can do it. But you have to truly believe it. And I think there's times where, and it's hard. I know we get up, we are faking it till we make it. And let's keep it real. We've all been there. We've all done that because we feel so depleted. We feel so down that we're trying to do our best to mask it and to try to overcome. I've had plenty of those days. Here's the thing. You have to cling on to the belief. You can't lose sight of that belief because that belief will continue to help you to continue to wake up, to continue to press on, to continue to run that race, right? But the thing is, we have to exercise that faith. You have to believe. You know, when Chris shared that, I was like, wow, okay, well, you know, you challenged the church for a 24-hour fast, and God said, Madi, 24 hours is not sufficient. You need to fast for 3 days. And I'm not sharing this with you guys to boast about the fast, but I'm sharing it to boast of what God can do, right? And so we fasted, 24-hour fast. I did the 3-day fast. It was on a Sunday night, Monday, Tuesday, all the way to Wednesday night. And I fasted and I was in prayer that entire time. Prayer, fasting. And I felt so good. I really thought I was going to have a headache or be moody or irritable or get anxiety or feel hungry. And man, did the Lord supply what I needed spiritually. I didn't need anything physically, but you know what fasting does? It humbles us. It humbles us. And what it does is it allows us to get closer to God. It really takes us and elevates us to get closer to Him. And when we do that, what happens is you do see breakthrough because see, it's up to God to do whatever it is that He wants to do. His will, whether He's going to heal us, whether we're going to live with this thorn on our side for X amount of years, our entire life, whatever that may be. But you know what it does? It changes us. It changes us to just rely on Him, to not just rely on Him, but to depend on Him,
call on Him
and trust in Him, knowing that He has our best interest.